Hi, everybody. I'm so glad y'all are here. Just a quick overview of the book that we've read so far. Papa is missing. He was supposed to be back. He was supposed to be there to help Esperanza with the flowers, but he's not. We know that two people are out looking for him, but we don't know where he is. Distracted, Mama paced at the window, each step making a hollow, tapping sound on the tile floor. Hortensia lit the lamps. The minutes passed into hours. "I hear riders," said Mamma, and she ran for the door. But it was only Tio Louis and Tio Marco, Papa's older stepbrothers. Tio Louis was the bank president, and Tio Marco was the mayor of the town. Esperanza didn't care how important they were, because she did not like them. They were serious and gloomy and always held their chins too high. Tio Louis was the eldest, and Tio Marco, who was a few years younger, was not as smart, and followed his brother's lead like un burro, a donkey. Even though Tio Marco was the mayor, he did everything Tio Louis told him to do. They were both tall and skinny, with tiny mustaches and white beards just on the tips of their chins. Esperanza could tell that Mamma didn't like them either, but she was always polite because they were Papa's family. Mamma had even hosted parties for Tio Marco when he ran for mayor. Neither had ever married, and Papa said it was because they loved money and power more than people. Esperanza thought it was because they looked like two underfed billy goats. "Ramona," said Tio Louis, "we may have bad news. One of the vaqueros brought this to us." He handed Mamma Papa's silver belt buckle, the only one of its kind, engraved with the brand of the ranch. Mamma's face whitened. She examined it, turning it over and over in her hand. It it may be nothing," she said. Then, ignoring them, she turned toward the window and began pacing again, still clutching the belt buckle. "We'll wait for you in this time of need," said Tio Louis. As he passed Esperanza, he patted her shoulder and gave it a gentle squeeze. Esperanza stared after him. In her entire life, she couldn't remember him ever touching her. Her uncles were not like those of her friends. They never spoke to her, played, or even teased her. In fact, they acted like she didn't exist at all. And for that reason, Tio Louis's sudden kindness made her shiver with fear for Papa. Abuelita and Hortensia began lighting candles and saying prayers for the men's safe return. Mamma, with her arms hugging her chest, swayed back and forth at the window, never taking her eyes from the darkness. They tried to pass the time with small talk, but their words dwindled into silence. Every sound of the house seemed magnified. The clock ticking, someone coughing, the clink of a teacup. Esperanza struggled with her stitches. She tried to think about the fiesta and all the presents she would receive tomorrow. She tried to think of bouquets of roses and baskets of grape on every table. She tried to think of Marisol and the other girls giggling and telling stories, but those thoughts would only stay in her mind for a moment because before transforming into worry, because she couldn't ignore the throbbing soreness in her thumb where the thorn had left its unlucky mark. It wasn't until the candelabra held nothing but short stubs of tallow that Mamma finally said, "I see a lantern. Someone is coming." They hurried to the courtyard and watched a distant light, a small beacon of hope swaying in the darkness. The wagon came into view. Alfonso held the reins and Miguel the lantern. When the wagon stopped, Esperanza could see a body in the back, completely covered with a blanket. "Where's Papa?" she cried. Miguel hung his head. Alfonso didn't say a word, but the tears running down his round cheeks confirmed the worst. Mama fainted. Abuelita and Hortensia ran to her side. Esperanza felt her heart drop. A noise came from her mouth, and slowly her first breath of grief grew into a tormented cry. She fell to her knees and sank into a dark hole of despair and disbelief. That is a sad note to leave it on today, but that is where we are leaving it. I'll see you tomorrow for the next chapter.